Well, hello ladies and gentlemen. This is another shoutcast of a three-way free-for-all on Planetary Annihilation Alpha version 0.50. Hopefully this time the recording won't decide to mess up in probably one of the more crucial elements of the actual game, and I again will attempt to be shoutcasting through the game to give you an insight into what's happening. That is, when it loads. I will be doing it from spectate, so that means I'll need to kill my commander pretty much straight off. So now all we do is wait for everyone to connect, I guess. And I believe it might be just processing the planet now. Well, here we are. We are now on this planet. We are just going to pop right in and select a spawn. There we go, it is ready. It is selected in this little alcove here, and with something of an interesting particle effect to indicate this is your spawn. Right, let's go ahead and delete our commander so that we can spectate through the rest of the game. There we go. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's see who we have, what we have, and why we might have them. Makes no sense. This is actually a reasonably large size map, judging by the size of it. I'm just rearranging stuff on my desk so I can actually do this effectively. Right, so we have three players. We have Solidron, we have Commander Vorpal, and we have Greenbag. We have Greenbag over here in red, going for what looks like 2 metal and hopefully a bit of energy economy over there. Nope, 3 metal, fine, that's fair enough. Over here we have Commander Vorpal. I'll probably just call him Commander from now on, or Vorpal in fact. That's 2 metal and an energy so far there, that's fine. 2 metal, 2 energy, that's also a viable entrance. And we have Solidron going straight in for a naval factory. That's an interesting build actually, if I must say so. I mean, it is a reasonable sized body of water, but you're not really going to be controlling too much area with that. But personally, I would have gone for an air factory first. Just like Commander is doing, or Vorpal in fact, over here with the air factory. Solidron meanwhile is going for vehicles as their first port of call. So we might see some land battles churning out from Greenbag, excuse me, whereas from Vorpal, whoop, that's the moon in the way, we'll get some air units. Interesting though that they aren't deciding to build any fabricators yet. You really sort of want to build some fabricators like Solidron is doing here, and possibly a little bit more econ as well. That's an interesting glitch. We'll build the ship in here and out it goes! Right, something from the more recent update you'll probably notice are these metal deposits that are lying around. These are no longer just decals and are now actually features, but you do not have to build on them at this point in the alpha build, apart from the fact that they are sort of in awkward places, like here, on the middle of a crevice. So it's interesting that, you know, the only players that have really gone for fabrication right now are Greenbag and Solidron. I would really recommend maybe getting 2 metal, 2 energy, an air factory is what I would normally go for, and then following that set up about 4 or 5 fabricators, and while those are building get your commander filling up to 4 metal, 4 energy. And then when your fabricators start coming out, just set 1 on constant metal production, 1 on constant energy production, and then all the others can just start spamming out factories and defences, so that you can have a big boosting economy in no time. And Greenbag seems to have disconnected. That's unfortunate. Looks like it's going to be a 1 versus 1 here now, unless they can manage to reconnect. Not Greenbag, sorry, Commander. I'm really getting confused with the names this time, I don't know why. So we're going for some floating energy over here. Looks like we might be going for an all sea approach from Solodron. It's not going to be the most effective because, as I said before, the body of water does not really cover a substantial enough section of the landmass in order to actually do anything. Actually, looking at it, these two players have spawned reasonably close in the whole grand scale of things. But as you can see, this is a sort of approach I would recommend. You know, sort of doing your 2 metal, 2 energy, then get factories, get fabricators doing individual resources, and then other ones spamming out other factories, and just constantly producing economy, and then start bringing out units after units after units, because your economy can handle it. And that's the way you get big armies very quickly in a positive economic state, and also bringing up the intel network as well. So far, looking at it, the strongest position has to be Green Bag here. Solodron is a little bit behind because they're only going for naval units. Actually, no, they've just built a vehicle factory. This is good news, though you really want to get some more economy, Solodron. You really do. Really do. Otherwise you'll start to fall behind very rapidly, because, you know, as I said in my last one, an army, you know, marches on its stomach in effect, whereas in this one you don't really have food. You have, you know, your metal and energy income and output, and without good enough income you can't build up your military quick enough. And while you might have a good first engagement, a big army versus a big army, you know, you're going to both take a huge hit from that, and the person who has the better economy can go back, regroup, rebuild faster, and be prepared faster for that second big assault, whereas the other player who doesn't have the good economy will have a smaller return force for the second assault and will lose out on that, and then the advantage starts to compound itself until the point that the person with the weaker economy is ultimately defeated. Unless, of course, they can have a really effective strategy or even a lucky streak to get them through the game. And regrettably, I have to say, Vorpal does seem to have DC'd and will not be reconnecting. So the title of this, I guess, will have to be a 1 versus 1 on what is a rather large planet, to say the least. This really is a large planet. But there we have it. So apologies for that, but it's a 1 versus 1, so the moment they find each other, that'll be interesting, because they know who they're going for. Looking at this again, he's going for all naval stuff again. Why? I don't. You know, we do have a turtle coming out of Solodron, so that's okay. But as long as it's effective turtling, because the thing is, some people, you know, take turtling as just building up and cornering yourself and sort of not letting anyone else in, whereas an effective turtle basically does that to an extent, but has a standing army that can go out and do raids, and uses the advantage over time of economic damage rather than just smashing everyone with military. So using that economic advantage over time to whittle down your opponent rather than just all out bigger unit numbers. Looking at Greenbag's base, we're already onto advanced vehicle factories, so as you can see, this is what I mean by your economy and getting a big army churning out very fast. You can see all of these ants just accumulating rapidly. I mean, here you have, looks like in excess of 20 ants already. I'd say we're barely 10 minutes into the game and we have an incredibly strong economy from Greenbag here. We even have some air factories producing hummingbirds and scouts to get the intelligence network really going strong. So once these fireflies start going out and scouting the map, Greenbag will be able to know where his opponents are and maybe even start sending out raiding parties in the form of these, well, I would say smaller ant groups, but if I'm honest, in comparative army sizes, the ants are gonna do quite a bit of damage in this regard. Although this one blue bottle here might manage to hold off for a little while, providing it uses an advantage of greater range. But if I'm honest, really, you do want to be producing units, even if you're a turtle. You know, it's about balance. You want a good economy, you want good defense, and you want a good standing army as well. And without those, you know, a good combination of all of those, you really aren't going to do particularly well in the long run. Unless you do what I did in my first game, where it actually showed me playing the game against 3 other people. I decided to go and build a bunch of different bases all around, so that, you know, when one base is killed, I still have about 3 others just, you know, hiding in corners and letting everyone fight off against each other and using that to my advantage. What I have heard a lot of, though, is that, you know, oh, there isn't a lot of strategy in this game. To an extent, that is true, I guess, because this is an alpha build. So very much at the moment you do have just these churning out very large armies, and this could actually be a very short game if these ants manage to find this base here, although with this radar installation they probably can see it. But as I was saying, you know, because it's an alpha build, it's basically more about the spamming units and the control of the economy. Strategies, I say, you know, you improvise your own in terms of your, you know, your unit composition and, you know, your build orders and things like that. But because the number of units and different types of buildings are quite limited at the moment, a bunch of strategies like, you know, building a backdoor artillery base at the moment is a little bit on, you know, on the dodgy side. And I'm going to leave talking about strategies for a minute here, because this could be the end of Solidron right here. I doubt it, but honestly, I think it could well be, because these ants are really going to start tearing through the econ here. And this really, yeah, I think this might be the end. I mean, the blue bottle can only do so much, and, you know, we are building some ants, but is it too little too late? We shall see when all of these ants just hide around the back. Other ones are going to try and be a little bit amphibious here, while managing to shoot a projectile from underwater up at relative speed like that. So that already has done a reasonable amount of damage to the econ here. And yes, this is going to be the end of Solidron. I am almost certain of it. In fact, I am certain of it. Where is the commander? Where is he's stuck in the middle. Oh, you should have run when you had the chance, man. Oh wow. Yeah, this is yeah, that's the end of Solidron, folks. So I guess in this sense, this is going to be a short and sweet recording. I will have another one coming up soon. What? What was that? What? What was that? The commander's OP! Look at that! That's ridiculous. But you see what I mean about being able to reproduce quickly. I mean, he has, in effect, the same a number of ants just ready to come in for a second wave, while because of the weaker econ you can't build up as much in your second attempt at defending your base. So if I'm honest, all Solidron has done is delay the inevitable, and boom, there he goes, he's disconnected officially. Boom, now it's officially a 1 versus 1, and if I'm honest, judging by econ and army composition, it's probably going to be more like a 15 versus 1, because this is going to be incredibly difficult for Solidron to pull back after this beginning. Now, why are you going for naval? Churn out some okay, never mind, it's up to you. If he's got a plan, he's got a plan. But personally, I wouldn't have opted for naval in this situation, when you can probably assume, if you've been attacked by that many ants at the beginning, you can probably assume the strength of your opponent's economy and their base. So you'll probably want to factor that into your equation when you decide to, you know, build some extra base and defensive structures. For instance, if you see a bunch of ants walking towards you and you manage to fight them off, do you think, that's all they have, that was, you know, they've built that up after ages and ages and ages? Or do you look at the game time and go, oh dear, that's a lot in a really short time, they can probably do that again in about a minute's time, which they have done and are about to win this battle against the commander. Can they? I love the overpoweredness of the commander's weapon. It's beautiful. Just takes out the whole thing. Dead. But he really isn't going to stand up to all of this. Plus we now have T2 levelers coming out, so this really is now a case of clearing up more than anything else. You know, this is to me, I'm not particularly good at playing this game. I just prefer to be a strategist, if I'm honest, and sort of shoutcast these sort of games, because to me macro and micro are something I'm, you know, really struggle with, and this flanking maneuver by Solodron is a beautiful example of that. You know, that's what I would sort of have considered to do, but probably wouldn't have had the ability to actually do it because of my skills in the actual game. But I just enjoy the game type so much. But you know, this really is, to me, very impressive play from Greenbag. Just this sprawling base already of T1, T2, and you know, constant production here and mopping up what's left. And I think Solodron might have given in at this point and accepted defeat, because you can run away, but they're after you, they know where you're going. Looks like they might have a greater movement speed, only slightly, so they are going to chase you down, they are going to get the range. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. He is going to get away. That's quite amazing. Although, for how long? Because they do have a reasonably strong air force as well, full with bumblebees. I don't think they've got any T2 air yet, and I'm not sure whether they have any fireflies left as scouts. They do actually have one left, which they can go around and have a look at to see what's happening and where. But as I say, this really is, to me, really quite impressive. I probably couldn't have done this after playing the game for, you know, all the way through the alpha. I mean, I haven't really played player versus player all that much because I've been concentrating on giving you guys update logs. But yeah, I have to commend Greenbag on the base composition over there. It's really quite strong. And it appears as though they're almost ignoring this base and just hunting down the commander because they realise they can't really have got all that far. And you really want to have moved further than that. Your commander is about to get found. You're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs if you leave that there. They know that you're this way. If they see that, I have to say this is turning out to be quite an interesting wild goose chase here on the part of Greenbag and Solodron. And I'll just walk through a rock like a boss. Quick question, is Chuck Norris riding that commander? Otherwise, how is that possible? No, look, you want to go on the other side of this crevasse, or even down here to the polar ice cap, because that way you've got the greatest, you know, land gap, if you like. Give you the biggest time to try and claw back some form of defense, but at this time it's a case of how good Greenbag can spread their intel network over the planet and clear up the situation in the quickest and most efficient time possible. Quickest time and most efficient way possible. And Solodron, you are really leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. I'm not sure if he's sort of going, you can never catch me, I'll just keep running away. But all this time, I would suspect Greenbag is going to start producing a larger air force, and maybe even, you know, just keep spamming out these units so that to the point. Woo, hello. It appears we've lost moon textures. That's an interesting one. Maybe, I guess, in player versus player, when you've got the whole planet texture, the moon would be a little bit too much to ask at this point in the alpha. But as I was saying, it would be interesting to see how Greenbag tackles this intel problem of Solodron charging around almost in a gingerbread man-like fashion. I mean, this is the sort of thing I meant, sort of, you know, have one or two fabricators constantly building up sort of defense, and other ones if I can find them, down here, you know, constantly building up the econ. And you then, you know, once you have a econ that's just constantly growing and growing and growing, you can just keep churning out factories and units after units after units, and you can, you know, really begin to dominate. I mean, this is what, 10-15 minutes into the game, and this is what we have as a base from Greenbag. And I personally don't see any way Solidron can claw this back. And this is what I mean by the intel, sort of spreading these units over the surface of the planet to make sure that Solidron isn't going to be doing too much charging around without at some point getting found. He has now gone down to the polar ice cap, but because of his trail of breadcrumbs, he's almost been leading them behind him. And he does want to watch out that he doesn't sort of charge all the way and walk into the back door of Greenbag's base, because that really would be embarrassing. It's sort of, I don't want to be seen. Oh, I'm in his base. Whoops, dead. You know. So I guess in a way, this is going to be. Actually, he is getting quite close to the back door of Greenbag's base. Does he realise this, or is he going back down round the crevice to the polar ice cap? Looks like he's going back down and round. Excuse me. Or is he going to try and build more navy? Nope, he's going back down and round. So how's the intel network coming on? This Bumblebee is getting dangerously close to that commander in terms of intel, and if he's not too careful, he is going to walk into the range of this radar installation, and Greenbag is going to see that and go, oh, there he is, and, you know, snipe him out very quickly if he hasn't already come into range of it, because all of these do seem to be walking in this direction. So I think they realise that he is there, and if I'm not mistaken, you'll start to see some of these units just start pulling down this way and this way, just almost in a fork-like action from the top and across the water and down and around from the crevice. But I'm not sure if Greenbag is making full use of his intel here, or whether he isn't actually in range of this radar installation. Unfortunately, from Spectate you cannot see ranges of buildings and things because you can't select them. But then again, Alpha, hopefully when the full Spectate ability has been polished and finalised by the retail version, we shall be able to do that. And I do believe he is going to be found. He has been found, and it's now a case of finish him! Here comes the Air Force. He's going to try and command a snipe. He is going to command a snipe. He's going to command a snipe successfully, and that is going to be the end of the game. Well, thank you for watching this rather brief game of Planetary Annihilation, but hopefully that has enabled demonstration of you know, what a really good economy can do for you in the long run. I mean, you know, as I say, 20-25 minutes into the game, and you know, you have that sprawling base there that is almost limitless in terms of what it can do now because of the strength of the economy, while Solidron, you know, decided to sacrifice economy for the massive early defense, which ultimately, without the intel, he was building all of the wrong defense. He was building anti-air defense, whereas in effect Greenbag was not going for air in terms of aggressive military stance. He was in fact going for a lot of ants, and you want to be able to know that before really spamming out the defensive towers. Well, on that note, folks, I will return to the main menu. Should it work? Yes, it does. And I will say thank you very much for watching. I will be momentarily recording another Shoutcast so that you have these constantly sort of coming in now. Again, any updates that come out, I will make a video. A quick note though, I will probably not be around this weekend because I am away. Although any updates that do occur over the course of the weekend, I will get a video churned out for you either Sunday evening or early Monday morning. so do stick around for them. If I don't upload, as I say, it is because I am away. There's a lot more Planetary Annihilation coming this way. You've got Shoutcast, you've got gameplay, you've got your update logs. So yes, stick around for that. If you know anyone who's interested in Planetary Annihilation, do share these videos with them, because I do hope I'm aiming to be your sort of one-stop shop on YouTube for your Planetary Annihilation updates and gameplay. I also have other things coming, like my monthly Amnesia playthrough, which should be interesting. Plus we're almost on the final episode of Walking Dead. In fact, we are on the final episode of The Walking Dead now. If you're interested in watching those, do. Plus, I'd just like to take a moment to advertise my Tomb Raider Let's Play. That's always a good bit of fun to watch. Anyway, I'm babbling. Again, thanks for watching. Come back soon for more Planetary Annihilation and other stuff on Mega Marshal XP. Have a nice day.